Karnataka government has tweaked quarantine norms for returnees yet again. As per the new norms, all returnees from across the country entering Karnataka will have to undergo 14 days home quarantine. Earlier, only returnees from Maharashtra had to undergo 1 week institutional and 1 week home quarantine. So the rules have changed again. Neha Habale is joining us live on this big story that we are tracking at this moment. Neha, if you can hear me, just wanted to ask you that, of course, the rules are being revised from time to time. On one hand, it could be indicative of a government thinking on its feet and proactively deciding on its strategy. But on the other hand, sometimes it might be even difficult if the rules change too frequently from the point of view of implementation. Tell us why the change was made again. Certain exemptions were there earlier, certain specific rules for Maharashtra. But now I think everyone has been brought together under the same umbrella. All the other states.
Well, that's right, Afrida. This is almost the 7th or the 8th time that we're seeing the quarantine norms being changed in Karnataka. Initially, we saw how it was mandatory institutional quarantine for all the returnees from all the states. Then later, we saw, the tweaking of the norms with a 21-day quarantine period for some of the, returnees. And then later, again, we saw the norms of how home isolation it was for everybody except the returnees from Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu and Gujarat. Now, later, we're, seeing a tweak in the norms as to how basically all the other states except the returnees from Maharashtra had to undergo home quarantine. But now, possibly owing to the rise in the number of cases and the sudden spurt, we're seeing Karnataka reporting nearly about 1,500 cases on a daily basis, which is, much higher than what it was reporting earlier, and possibly anticipating a shortage of beds now. The government is trying to send a maximum number of people into home isolation as much as they can. So this is why now we're seeing that even for the returnees who are coming in from Maharashtra at this point in time, they will have to undergo a 14-day home quarantine period. And, the government has done away completely with institutional quarantine in Karnataka. Now, as far as, of course, if we look at actually the shortage of the beds or the bed capacity concerned in the state of Karnataka and how, the two could possibly be linked, we understand that, several patients, Afrida, over the past week or over the past 10 days have been struggling to find a hospital bed. Many people, have in fact had a waiting period of more than nearly, 30 hours. So keeping all of this in mind, the government is trying to, now ensure that their infrastructure, the health infrastructure and the beds that are available are, utilized mostly for the COVID-19 patients. And this is why we're seeing that even for the returnees from Maharashtra now, there is going to be a 14-day home quarantine.
Okay, so compulsory quarantine for those coming in from Maharashtra has been removed completely. Only home quarantine for anyone coming into Karnataka for a period of 14 days. Thanks, Neha, for joining us with that information.